Thank you for joining the Gimli's Forge podcast. Today we have pro wrestler Redshaw, former ACW heavyweight champion, RCW heavyweight champion, and you're key to the city?
So I held the RCW Emerald Crown, so not the heavyweight just yet, unfortunately, but hopefully one
Oh,
day. Um,
one day.
Won the PWSA Heavyweight Championship a couple times, and I won the Key to the City part of a tag team at RCW. So done
Nice.
a few things. Yeah.
Just a few. Awesome. Um, well, again, thank you for jumping on. Um, some people may know we have a little bit of history. Um, with that being me being the famous heckler at ACW, I think it was Redemption, where I held the sign that had the famous words, Redshaw makes me ashamed to be ginger. So
Yeah, very,
I
very, very
remember,
good sign. Very original. I liked it. It was good.
I remember, I think it was a show beforehand where Down Under actually was like, "Hey, can you make a sign?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to be too rude, because it's like you gotta understand. Because to me, it's like while you're putting on a character, at the same time, it's like, oh, you want to have a bit of banter and make sure they recognize it." And I'm like, "Good thing I got front row." And as soon as you're making your walk, you recognize it straight away. So, nah, it's alright, it's alright.
It's good fun. It's all part of it, and we love that sort of stuff. As long as there's no anything over the top, racial stuff like that fans
Of
put
course.
on, but anything like that is always good fun. So
Yeah,
no, it's good banter, and we love it. So no, it
yeah.
was something I hadn't seen before as well. Not your common signs, which is good.
Yeah, no, I remember before the show, I think the first message I sent you was you're a bum, only because I was supporting Down Under that night, and you're like, thanks, mate. And yeah, I lost it laughing when that was your response. So, and then as soon as I walked in, I was like, mate, I am so sorry. And you're like, nah, you're fine. Like you're so chill. And then yeah, as soon as you walked out, I was like, you make me ashamed to be ginger, and I still have the sign with me to this day.
Ah, nice.
And oh, the image of us two, where your face was just like, "This is disgusting." Oh, to me, it just painted 1,000 pictures, not pictures, no words,
Yeah,
words.
that's
But
that's what we do it for. We do it for the crowd reactions. So
yeah,
as long as we're getting something, that's what we want it.
exactly.
So no, it's perfect.
Nah, but I guess I want to get to know you a bit more about how you grew up as well. So, like, what was your childhood like? So, did you like get into a family of wrestling? I know you look like a bodybuilder. You weightlift. I do know that. So how did you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in a small country town here in SA. So um, was family wasn't really into wrestling, but my older brother was into weightlifting, bodybuilding. So was really into that at a young age, reading all the magazines, watching all the movies and the shows
Nice.
and stuff like that. So him and his mates got me into weight training. That sort of was the start of my weightlifting journey. So that was just constantly in the gym from 13, 14 years old onwards.
Yeah,
Fell
nice.
in love with that, so it was great. And then wrestling sort of came to me in school. Some mates um, were watching it and playing the games and stuff, and
Yeah,
showed me the
nice.
product. And then I fell in love with wrestling, and had a on and off relationship as people do. You go through periods, and
Yeah,
it
for
wasn't
sure.
until I moved to Adelaide and then found out that you can actually do wrestling here in Australia, and it's a thing and it's local. Started going
Nice.
to some of the shows as a fan, and then after that found out you could do tryouts and put my hand up. But before the tryouts, I was a competitive powerlifter.
Nice.
So I did that for 3 to 4 years while working as a personal trainer. Um, and
Nice.
then once I sort of got into the wrestling, the powerlifting and the wrestling, the body wasn't keeping up. So one of them had to get go, and I figured I could make more out of myself in the wrestling, so I stuck with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can appreciate that where people really like follow their passion, and I can see because I've seen you compete a couple of times now where I can see that's your passion, and I can see you put a lot of effort and heart into it. Um, and I think that goes to all everyone who competes as well. It's like um, where it's very much like it's like you got to put on a character. It's not just like a wrestling match. It's like you're trying to tell a story and that kind of thing. And I think it's not just as simple as you're on the street, you can just walk in and do it. It's not that simple. Um,
No,
so I'm
100%.
sure you can speak to that as well.
Yeah, 100%. People think it's yeah, you can go in there and anyone can do it. We've all wrestled our siblings and mates in the backyard, and we think we could go in there and be the next, Triple H or whatever. But yeah,
Triple H, love it.
it does take a lot of work. And yeah, everyone that does it, especially here in Adelaide and stuff, are really dedicated. We put a lot into it, a lot of time training and all that sort of stuff. Just like yourself, with your fighting, we dedicate to it
For
100%.
sure.
Not just with the actual wrestling training, but with diet and weight training and lifestyle and that sort of stuff. So making
Yeah,
sure
for sure.
that our bodies are 100% and our minds are 100% ready for our events.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think a lot of because I know my good mate Benny Della, who's training with ACW, and I quite often chat to him because I fought him in jiu-jitsu, and he, really emphasizes like it's not as simple as what people see on the front. Like, you get to the show and he speaks to how it's like only like 5-10% of the actual work that's put in. So I guess like we'll get to that, but what were your like first memories? Like, what was your first match that you remember? Like watching that really got you into wrestling.
I think I was watching some of like the early SmackDown shows and stuff with my mates that were into it. That sort of seeing like Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio, those
Nice.
sort of times, the early 2000s. That's what seeing all those sort of guys getting into it really sparked my interest, and then I just started to borrow his DVDs or go to the shop and buy some DVDs. So yeah, a lot of the early 2000s stuff is what really got me into it. So a lot of the John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio, that sort of, and Undertaker, of course. As soon as I saw
Yeah.
Undertaker, yeah, I was hooked. So it's probably no match in particular that sort of got me going. It was a
Yeah.
combination of just the time and the superstars that were in at the time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very much the same where it's like I can't pick like just one match. It's always like a combination of people that I feel like always put on these great matches, great performances. Like I can't think of a great match by Triple H myself, but every time he makes an entrance at WrestleMania, I'm like, that is the best damn thing ever. Like, I think my personal favorite was when he did, I think it was WrestleMania 30. Um, so I'm sure you have some wrestlers in mind that it's like not necessarily the match, but their entrance really, covers for it.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot about the character and the wrestler itself. So sometimes, you might say, yeah, match was your favorite, but the match itself might not have been that good. But yeah, the story in it, or the entrances, or whatever happens during the match, really was the thing that got you to enjoy it. So there's just whenever the Undertaker makes his entrance and stuff like that, and different guys like that, you always know it's going to be a good time. And if there's a good story in the ring, then it gets you hooked every time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I do want to speak about so how did you actually get your foot in the door for wrestling? Because you haven't been doing it for all too long, have you?
So yeah, going into my 6th year now of training. Um, so yeah, I was working in a gym in the city. Was working alongside at the time. I didn't know, but Rocky Monero.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then yeah, he sort of found out I liked wrestling, showed me um, himself and the local product, and I was just in awe because I didn't know that was such a thing. I thought there was no way there was wrestling in Adelaide. Like a lot of people, if you don't know it's there, you don't know. So once I found it and started going to the local Riot City shows, watching
Yeah.
watching those from the crowd, and then followed the Facebook and stuff like that, and saw that they do tryouts. So I finally got myself together, went and did a tryout, and then yeah,
Nice.
got accepted, and then that was it. Started working my way up from merch table to referee, and then finally
Nice.
into the wrestler.
Nice. So it was a labor of love from what I'm hearing. Like you really had to work your way up to even be able to step inside the ring. So
Yeah,
how long was it from, I guess, working the merch tables to actually having your first match? What was that time frame?
yeah. So it was about just a little under a year until I had my first match.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, at the time I did a few months on the merch table, and then I was asked thrown in to be a referee, just like in a guest spot for a match. And then after that, they said, yeah, you can keep doing some refereeing if you like. So I stayed in that position for a few more months, 3 to 4 months, and then built a storyline out of the referee spot to then have my first match
Nice.
with James Cray from that.
Nice. Yeah, no. I also had another sign made at the last event, where it was on the opposite side of the sign that was directed at you, and it just read, "Are you my real dad?" And I remember, like James, he had one of the funniest responses to me just yelling out, "Are you my real dad?" And he goes, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm only 24." And he goes, "Unless I was shagging at 4 years old, no." And with his British accent, it was so funny. But I remember getting to chat to him afterwards, and I'm like, this guy really loves what he does. Like, and I really, get the vibe from that with all wrestlers. So definitely love all this. So you really attribute James Gray to helping your career to what it is today.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, he thankful that he wanted to work with me and progress the storyline along to eventually have take me on for my first match. So, credit a lot to him, and obviously a lot to the trainers at the time that brought me in. Rocky Monero, Matt and Chris Basso, Nick Armstrong, Bulldog. A lot of these guys that yeah took me in and really trained me up and made sure um, that I progressed
Nice.
at a good rate. I was lucky I had some athleticism behind me with the powerlifting and
For sure.
sport. Played a lot of sport for a long time, so to have that behind me was a good leg up, which was able to make me focus on the actual wrestling stuff more than trying to actually
Nice.
focus on my fitness and my body. But obviously, it's a completely different ball game when you're in the actual
Yeah, for
ring. It's
sure.
like when you're in your fights, it's a completely different to when you're training.
Oh, for sure. For
So
sure.
yeah, it's all learning every time.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I'm sure you touched on it just then. Like, you attribute like your powerlifting experience to your wrestling now. And yeah, I can definitely speak to that because I remember when I fought Benny Della. I think I was either the second or third time that I fought him where I was just gassed, and he's like, "You're usually a lot quicker than that." I'm like, "Mate, I had like 3 or 4 back-to-back matches just now. Like, there's a reason why I'm slow."
Yeah,
But you know what? It really is like it's a different entire ball game where it's you're in the training room or whatever environment you're in, and it's like you're actually on a competitive stage. It's like whoa, like 0 to 100 real quick, and it's like at one point you just go, how do I do this again? Like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah,
I remember as well, like when I had my first cage fight, it was like, oh, how do I keep my hands up again? So, um, So how long did it take for you to sort of like go, okay, I've been doing this long enough now. I feel comfortable to go out there and do what I do.
Um, oh, well, you never, you're never fully, you're always nervous, you're never fully comfortable. So it's the same thing. Like, you could be on the back of a 3 weekend, stint of matches, and you turn to yourself and say, "Shit, how do I wrestle again?"
Yeah,
So it does happen, but no, I guess because I fell in love with it so much and really, brought into the whole process. Once I had a couple matches, I was starting to understand it a bit better and was really feeling it. So I was able to each match was just able to get more confident to the point now where obviously still get the nerves and stuff, but can go out there and put on the shows
sure,
and do those long matches and stuff like that. But yeah, it took a good year or so of matches and failing and doing different stuff. But yeah, just the love of it and constantly practicing and evolving and learning new stuff is helping each time. So yeah, it's
for
still a
sure.
work in progress, obviously, but we're never going to learn everything. But yeah, definitely a lot more confident now than I was when I first started.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I do want to speak to like so you started with Right Silly Wrestling, is that right?
Yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah. So have you competed just in SA or have you competed like where have you competed?
Yeah, so yeah, Riot City is where I got my start, and that's where I go to the training academy there. I've wrestled obviously at ACW, PWSA, and Power Slam when they were around here in SA. I've been lucky enough to travel interstate. I've been to
Wow,
Queensland for
nice.
a Wide Bay Pro. I've been to New South Wales for Wrestle Strong Dojo, and I've been to Victoria and did Deathmatch Down Under when that was around. So oh, and I've been to
Nice.
Perth as well. Sorry, for Southern Territory
Far
Wrestling.
out.
So
So you've definitely had a bit of experience, not just competing uh, at home in SA. So
yeah, yeah,
what's it like competing interstate compared to SA?
yeah. It's completely different. It's obviously you gotta because you're not working, not training with these guys or seeing them so often. You gotta really watch their videos on Instagram or YouTube and try and figure out obviously what moves they do and how they wrestle and how their style is. And then when you go over there, it's obviously normally the interstate guy is the bad guy because you're coming into someone else's hometown and they don't like you, so adjusting to that. But it's a great
Yeah,
time though. It's great for networking. You meet a lot of people. You make a lot of friends and contacts that can help you in the future. So
for
yeah, it's a
sure.
bit daunting at first when you first go over to a company, and you got to make sure you get out your comfort zone, meet everyone, talk to everyone, and make a good impression. But the more you go back there, the better it is because you've got those connections already, and it's a good time to also get out of state and have a holiday as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I know what it's like because you want to make, positive connections no matter where you are. Like, I know with me at Jiu-Jitsu comps, I always like to just chat to anyone and everyone, even my opponents, and just say, hey, how you going? Be friendly. Because I know after your match at ACW Redemption, um, like we were actually quite friendly, which I know a couple of people messaged me after, they were like, "How on earth did you get him to approach you?" And I'm like, "Hey, trust me, he gets it's a joke." Like, I think I, so it's not, and I think as well, it's like your character is completely different to how you are in real life, I suppose. Um, Probably the wrong way of putting it, but I'm sure you get where I'm going.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You don't want to. There's no need to cause commotion or have any hate with people. It's all fun in the
exactly.
end. We're doing it for entertainment. We're doing it for the love of it. So, obviously, if there's anything that is said by fans that is crossing the line, then obviously there's a need to be someone to talk to them and sort them out. And we don't want that stuff in
Of
the
course,
industry. If there's
absolutely,
anything, whatever industry or sport you're in, you don't want shit that crosses the line, racism
absolutely.
or sexism, stuff like that. So, but anything in between the lines is all fun. And at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all there to
Of
have a
course.
great time. So if we can laugh about it afterwards, then why not? It's a
Yeah,
good time.
exactly. And that's what I really appreciate was how you reacted to me having a jab at you, I guess. Um, that a lot of people appreciate because apparently it's not common in SA to have people bring in signs. And I'm like, are you serious? But
Yeah,
it's
no,
alright.
it's yeah, they're pretty rare these days. You see them maybe one a show maybe, um, but yeah, there's not many of them. So when people actually do put in the effort, we love to see it and we love to get around them, especially if you're the one that they're either supporting or making fun of. It's always good to get on there and go see them and have a look.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I do want to speak to, I guess, the development of your character. So, how would you describe Redshaw as the character? Like, if people didn't know who you were as a wrestler, how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, so Redshaw, current evolution of Redshaw is the White Rhino. So he is pretty much what the old Redshaw was he was a big powerhouse that was um, ready to burst at the bubble sort of thing, but he had a lot of people sort of help controlling his anger. He did a lot of things to control himself. So now that he's got rid of all the distractions, the managers, the tag team partners, stuff like that, the White Rhino has been unleashed, and it's just a no nonsense powerhouse beast that just wants to lay waste to anyone in his way. So not really worried about winning or losing just yet. Just want to just get a bit of this anger out and take it out on some people. So yeah, just a powerhouse that likes to throw people around and make sure people hurt when they're done.
Yeah, for sure. Um, no, and I love it, and I like how like without even you explaining, I really feel that in your matches as well. Like I remember you in your character, and I couldn't help myself but laugh. Like you yelled at me, and I was like, I'm loving this. I'm loving it. But in saying that, though, that's the White Rhino. That's who you are. And I really appreciate how you can stay in character while I'm having a funny jab at yourself there. Um, but how long, I guess, for you did it take to develop that character? Like, did you go through multiple versions of Redshaw? Did you think of something else? What was that like?
Yeah, so the White Rhino character is very new. I've only just sort of that's been in development for a few months now. Well, pretty much development all year, and then I finally got to release that character a few months ago. But yeah, the original Redshaw pretty much just started off as just a similar version to my real life self. Came out with the powerlifting belt on and the powerlifting style suit and shoes and stuff like that. So it was just pretty much the powerlifter referee turned into a
For
wrestler,
sure.
and then slowly evolved into got into the wrestler Redshaw. So yeah, it's always been up until now. It's always been the same sort of look and style, but just obviously refined it and made it better and better as we went along and became more of a wrestler instead of just like a referee trying to play a wrestler. Um, and then developed that and developed my move sets and stuff like that. And then slowly over time had different interactions with different people, tag team partners turning on me, managers being
Yeah.
in my way, and that's now helped me develop this character that has now turned his back on everyone else and the anger management that he had to go through a few years ago. So yeah, just tweaking the Redshaw character now to being a bit more unhinged and a bit more just out for himself.
Nice, nice. Because you had, I'm trying to think, because I'm not so much in the wrestling world. Where is it a valet or like a manager sort of that you had with you at one stage?
Yeah, yep. So I had a manager there for a bit. I
AMT, wasn't it?
AMT, yeah, yep.
Yep.
So he was my my second manager I've had, I started off with Jimmy C while I was running with Jet Armstrong, and then they turned their back on me, and then AMT came in and was a bit of a shining light and sort of saving grace for me. And we worked together for quite a while, and then yeah, that just sort of that broke down and things didn't go to plan, so AMT had to be shipped off, so we had to get rid of him. But yes, yeah, it was always good to have someone. We travelled interstate together as well, so it was
Nice.
cool to have someone with you while you're there. So yeah, it's always good fun to have a manager that's also a buddy to run with you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And what's it like? I guess wrestling between like with a manager and without a manager. Do you find that it makes a difference at all?
Yeah, it can make a difference because the manager can sometimes be involved in the matches, so there's that to account for as well. Sometimes the manager unfortunately gets hit when you're the good guy. The bad guys like to beat up on the manager to provoke you. So sometimes, unfortunately, you put them in the firing line, and they can be a distraction as well. But yeah, it's good as in a way they can help you out, and they can be there to support you, especially if you're in the middle of getting beaten down. They can prep you up, give you a prep talk, and maybe splash some water in your face or something. But
Yeah,
it's like a corner man sort of thing. So yeah, it's nice
yeah,
to
for
have
sure.
someone there sometimes, but other times it's good to just have no distractions so you can just focus on who you have at hand in the ring.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I want to speak to, I guess, your entrance music. Do you feel like, did you go through multiple theme songs? Like, what was it like trying to find something that was very much your character?
Yeah, so I had before I debuted, I had a big list of songs. So I was constantly, I love music, so I listened to a lot of different music and different genres and heaps of different bands. So I had a big short list of songs, and constantly was just listening to them and picturing myself making an entrance to that song and showing other people and getting their opinions. And then I finally settled on the song that I ended up using. Um, and then that was I've always used that song up until now. With a new character, I've chosen a new song, which of course was another work in while I was developing this character, making another short list of songs, and just thinking of songs that would go with my character, picturing what my entrance would look like, when to come out, the breakdowns of the song, different stuff like that. So it was all yeah, it wasn't as easy as just picking a random song. I
Yeah, for sure.
put a lot of thought into it of how that song was going to come across and how I would look with that song playing.
Yeah, for sure. And I can speak to that as well, because when I fought in August last year, like, I was like, oh, I might go this song, I might go this song, because everything I felt I was, I guess, jamming to. And it got to the point where I walked out to 500 miles by the Proclaimers. And and everyone was like, yeah, that suits you. And I remember when I told my mum as well, she was like, Jordan, you're a dick. And I'm like, that's the confirmation I needed.
Yeah.
But it's alright, it's alright. Now, how did you go from like wrestling for RCW and then for ACW?
Yeah, so was able to use some of my obviously some of the guys that were at Riot City who's been around a long time, like Rocky, and that they've made a lot of connections already in SA, so they had connections obviously with the promotions, ACW and PWSA and stuff like that. So I just said to those guys and my trainers that I'd like to step out and wrestle in these other places just to get more and more reps in and learn more. So they put out the word to the promoters and told them that I was interested, and then just started conversation with the promoters, and then was able to make my way over there and start wrestling around the other companies. So yeah,
Nice.
thankful that the trainers put in a good word for me and thought I was at a level where I could go over there and learn a few things, and I'm grateful they did because I've learnt so much from those other companies, and they've both ACW and PWSA have gifted me with such great accomplishments already in my career, and can't thank them enough for what they've done. So very
For sure.
appreciative of those guys and Riot City for allowing me to step out of the bubble and go and see the rest of the world, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and just like even before I really got that vibe. Whereas like you really attribute um the early days of your wrestling, where your trainers and some of the other wrestlers to this day, such as James Gray, that really helped you, step outside of RCW. Um, and I love how you really hold that to heart, where it's those wrestlers are, you know, you hold them dear. So, um, so when was it that you had your first match with ACW?
With ACW, I think it was well, I debuted in Riot City in September 2019. So I think, sorry, I think
No, you're right.
ACW, I think ACW came in the following year. I reckon,
Okay.
maybe start of 2020, maybe end of 2019. It wasn't too long after I sort of started, so yeah,
Nice.
grateful that they let me in. So we'll say 2020, I reckon, was my first.
Yeah, for
Definitely
sure.
would have been my first match with them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I do know a lot of people do want me to, I guess, talk to you about your last match with ACW and the sign. So I guess for me, it was like I remember chatting to Down Under, and he was like, "How funny it would be to have a sign." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And I'm like, because I wanted to be creative, something original, something you probably wouldn't have heard of. Um, and yeah, it took me a while to go with that. Um, and I remember sitting front row, held it up to Down Under. He gave me a little wink, and I was like, "Yeah." Um, and then I remember holding it up as you made your walk. You made the sign of like you're gonna spit, like you were disgusted. And I thought that was the funniest thing. So, what was your initial reaction when you saw the sign?
Yeah, it was it was I guess um, pretty funny when I first saw it because obviously it's original. It's something I haven't heard before. Obviously, you get the ranger jokes now and again, but the way you put it was very good. Coming from a fellow ginger, so um,
Yeah, for sure.
I just couldn't help but laugh when I first saw it. It was very funny, but obviously when we're out there and when we're in the moment, I need to be in the Redshaw mode, so
Yeah,
had to
for
show
sure.
my anger and disgust to it. But when I saw it, not in the ring, it was a very funny sign that I
Yeah, for
saw,
sure.
and I was very I guess happy that someone had gone to the effort to put in a sign directed at me. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, you almost touched on it. Um, did I almost make you break character?
No, no, not really.
No.
Not because I sort of had seen it beforehand. I could see on the monitor backstage, could see the
Yeah.
sign. So, you know, in the moment, maybe a little bit, I had a little giggle inside, but I was able to keep it together to
Yeah,
do the
for
job at
sure.
hand because I had a big task at hand to
Yeah,
try and
for
beat
sure.
Down Under, which is not always easy. But no, it was very creative, very well done.
Yeah. No, I was like, as soon as I said makes me ashamed to be ginger, I was like, no one else could do it unless they're ginger. And I'm like, as soon as you read it, I was like, yeah. And I remember a couple of times, like, because I remember at one stage I was holding it up, and you were like to the ref, "Oi, get rid of this!" And I was loving it, and the crowd was loving it too. Um, and I remember at one stage you were like, "This is it's because of you who have a broken arm." And for me, the funniest thing in the world happened where he like reversed it and got you, and I remember, oh, Medicare won't cover that one. Um, so it was, I absolutely loved it. Um, selfishly as well, because it's like a couple of times like you had him like smashed up against a barricade where I was sitting, and I'm like, oh, that ain't good. Um, so I absolutely loved it. Uh, but and as well, that was a great match as well because that like it was really back and forth. Like there was a clear story from where I was sitting as well, um, which I can really appreciate because it's not always to tell a story just based on wrestling. Um, so I guess how long have you known Down Under?
Yes, I've known Down Under since I first started. He had already been in Riot City a year or so before me. Um, yeah, as soon as I came in, I was training with him sort of every week. So got to know him pretty well. And then yeah, we've out of everyone I've wrestled Down Under the most. All over all over Australia, South Australia. We've wrestled each other, yeah, the most probably each other. Um, Probably over 30 times we've been involved in
Oh wow,
matches together, so we know each other quite well in the ring, and we know each other pretty well outside the ring. So it's always good to get in there with him. I probably would like a break from him for a while because we've we've been at each other for so long. No, I'm glad that he's taken you know, the title's gone to someone I guess deserving that will hold the company in good stead. And we're looking forward to see what he does with it and the matches he's got coming up. So yeah, no, we've had a long-term relationship.
sure.
Yeah, we like to kick the shit out of each other as well. So
Yeah,
we
always,
don't hold
always.
back.
There's always like a couple of people where you're super friendly with, but every now and then you're just like, I wouldn't mind smacking them every once in a while. Like again with my mate Benny Della, like we fought each other, and every time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try and kill you. I'm gonna try and choke you out, and then afterwards I'm like, good job, mate. Um, like I remember there was I'm not sure what stage of champion he is, but there's a jiu-jitsu black belt at the moment, Augustus McCullum out of Mildura. First time I ever fought him in open weight, open belt, he takes me down and gets a submission on me. But half an hour later, he approaches me and goes, "Hey mate, you want an LCM bar?" And I'm like, I looked at him and I'm like, "You just killed me and now you're doing this." I'm like, it was insane. So, nah, it's alright, it's alright.
Yeah.
But since then, you've had a couple more matches since Redemption, is that right?
Yeah, not at ACW. I haven't been back to
Yeah.
ACW since, unfortunately, losing the title. But yeah, I've had a couple matches with Riot City and PWSA. I think I had one there as well since that match. So yeah, keeping busy. Trying to make sure I get a couple matches in a month, just to keep me going. So yeah,
Nice.
got some big things, big shows coming up with all the companies. So hopefully some big matches for me coming up as well will be good.
Nice. Nice. So, and I guess after a match, how do you recover as well? Like, do you just go straight home? Like, how do you recover?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, once your body's cooled down, you've done whatever you need to do backstage, promos or whatever. Yeah, just cooling down, stretching. If anything's hurt or tight, making sure that's stretched or iced up, or if you've got any cuts or bruises, making sure you tend to those. And then yeah, just making sure you're in a good, rehydrate, water, have some food. You're always hungry because don't like to. A lot of people don't eat before they go out because obviously you don't want to poo yourself or vomit or anything like that. So
Always.
no, just
Nobody
making
wants a code
sure,
brown there.
yeah, rehydrate, get some food in, and then tend to whatever's sore or injured. Clean yourself up, and then yeah, get dressed, go home. Maybe get a cheeky little snack on the way home.
Always.
Then yeah, sit on the couch and probably shower up and relax for a bit. That adrenaline's always high after shows, especially if you're on later in the show, main event or whatever. By the time you get home, you're still buzzing for a few hours, so it's good to just relax on the couch, have a little cheeky hamburger or something, and cheeky little rum and relax.
Always, always. I know I'm the same where after a competition, I'm just like on the way home. I'll always like, there's a nice little burger shop near where I live called Stack's Burger Co.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I always, as I say to some of my mates, I'm like, I just pig out and just eat like burger, chicken tenders, chips, you name it. Like just feed old mate Gimli over here. So um, no, but I'm always like, I think recovery is so important. And I'm sure you can speak to that even with your powerlifting experience as well. Where it's like, for me, I have a massage gun. I'm fortunate that just down the road where I live, there's a recovery place,
Yeah.
where I can get a massage, hyperbaric oxygen chamber, sauna, float tank, whatever I need is there. Um, so, do you think, I guess with recovery, do you feel as if it's not as big as a priority as it should be with some people?
Yeah, there's definitely people that will take it more seriously than others. Some people will just sort of finish up, get dressed, have a beer, and off they go and do their own thing, which is each to their own. But obviously, from big sporting background and obviously the powerlifting recovery is so important for myself. And you can sort of tell the guys that take it seriously, the guys that are in really good shape, and the guys that are really taking they have a long match and they're not blowing up, they're not puffing and stuff like that. So people that take it seriously will put in that effort, and obviously it's something I take seriously, making sure I've got the right supplements, right food, stretching, training, doing all that sort of stuff to make sure that I'm in good condition to mainly stay injury free, but to put on the best performance I can without gassing myself out or anything like that. So yeah, you can definitely tell the ones that put in the effort and the ones that don't. And the ones that do, we all carry, like yourself, a massage gun or a first aid kit, or we got the spiky balls and elasto bands and all that different stuff,
For
to
sure.
make sure the warm ups and cool downs are all done to a good standard for ourselves. And then obviously we go into I myself go to places like plunge recovery and do the ice bath, like swimming pools and the heat pools and the firmer those pants that you put on the compression pants and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's
So
like it's like a little massage for your legs. That's
yeah,
how I would describe it.
so do them now and again when I've had a long stretch of matches or a lot of sport as well on top of that. So no, I like to make sure recovery is high, and I think a lot of people should pay more attention to it. But each their own. You can't force people to do stuff, but always happy to help out people when they need it.
Nice, nice. So I guess like what are your future aspirations as a wrestler? Like do you want to go like on a world stage like WWE? What's next for you?
Yeah, so current goals are obviously here in SA to really develop my White Rhino character and take that to the next level, and find some success again here in SA would be nice, especially maybe that Right City Heavyweight Championship you mentioned would be nice. But
Oh, wait.
after that, my main goal is to get myself around more around Australia, more well known around Australia in the companies, and to become become one of the guys that are getting booked around Australia and looked at all the time and wanting to be used to help bring up some of the next guys and put on some awesome matches around Australia and obviously here in SA be one of the namesakes. Obviously, if any international opportunities present, definitely wouldn't say no. But yeah, the focus is Australia at the moment, and then hopefully we can get the things together to maybe go to somewhere like a Japan or America, do a bit of a tour, and then start getting your foot in the door over there, and then see what happens. But yeah, not going to say no to anything that comes up, but focus is on Australia and especially the new character to really take that to the next level.
For sure, for sure. And I guess what's on the horizon at the moment? Like I know you mentioned just before like you have a few big shows coming up. So what's on the horizon?
Yeah, so we got RCW, we've got Power Trip coming up on the 5th of October at the Goodwood Community Centre, so that's going to be a nice big show. There's some cool matches on that. Going to have a casket match on that. Not myself, which is great, but um,
Oh, wait.
uh,
Casket matches, I feel like it's sort of like, ooh,
yeah,
that's I'm always like it because it's like I don't like the idea of sitting in a coffin.
yeah. So thankfully it's not me in that match, but yeah, hopefully I'll have a match on that show. After that, we're going to Tumby Bay and Port Lincoln with Riot City. We're going on a road trip on the 18th to the 20th of October. So going on that road trip. So I'll have a few cool matches on there, hopefully. And then after that, we'll be heading into November, which will hopefully be yeah, we'll keep that a secret for now, but hopefully maybe an
Oh,
ACW return will be in the cards. But yeah, we've always got some big shows coming up. But yeah, October, Riot City, we're going to be pretty busy with those big shows.
nice. So definitely a busy schedule for the rest of the year, which is what you love for sure.
Yeah,
Um, and I guess for anyone who's interested in powerlifting and/or wrestling, what would your advice be to them?
yeah. So with powerlifting, I guess the best thing to do if you're not 100% on the lifts and stuff like that is to find yourself a trainer or a coach. Um, you can find obviously PTs and stuff like that, but I sort of I stumbled into it one day because I met someone in the gym who was doing it, and like wrestling, I went and watched the competitions and got hooked on it and decided, all right, I can do this. So started doing my own programming, my own training, and that because I had the weightlifting background and bodybuilding background, so I knew how to lift weights. Did that for myself for a while, and it was going okay. But then when I finally went and actually hired a coach and got my technique completely, ripped to shreds and started again, that's when I started to actually progress and take it to able to actually win some competitions and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're going to do powerlifting, by all means, get into it because it's a great sport. But get yourself a trainer or a coach or someone who knows what they're doing to help you in the right direction to start with, and then you can obviously progress to more expensive or better coaches, whatever you need to do. For wrestling, if you want to get into it, I think having some sort of fitness or sporting background behind you is always beneficial. So if you've already been in the gym lifting weights, or you've come from like something like jiu-jitsu or something like that, or you've just played community basketball or community football or school football if you just come out of school, whatever. If you've got that ability and that you know how to be a part of a team, you know how to move your body, coordination, that sort of stuff. I think that's a big, huge benefit, and that will hold you instead when you first start training. Yeah, I find a lot of people come into it obviously thinking, oh, this is going to be so easy. I can just walk in and do this with no fitness. They've just got off the couch, and good on them for coming in and trying. It's always we've had people that have actually got in that have done that and put in the hard work to bring themselves up to the level. But I think try and have some fitness behind you, and you'll find it a lot easier, and you won't want to quit, and then you'll be able to stick it out and go wherever you need to go with it. So yeah, that's probably my
For sure,
advice for those two things.
for sure. Well, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for jumping on. It's an absolute pleasure. As soon as I saw you wrestle, I was like, and started this podcast, I was like, gotta have Redshaw on. Like, to me, it was a no-brainer. Um, and you're gracious enough to take time out of your day to just have a chat, which is much appreciated.
Yeah,
So thank
absolutely.
you,
No,
and we'll
but
catch you on the next episode of Gimli's Forge.
no, thank you.